Top Sales Strategies 2025. What's next for B2B sales in 2025? Is buyer-led and rep optional? B2B selling has shifted from seller-led to buyer-led, and 2025 is where that change becomes impossible to ignore. When 61% of buyers say they prefer a rep-free buying experience, the bar for earning a live conversation goes way up. At the same time, 73% of buyers actively avoid suppliers who send irrelevant outreach, which means the old volume playbook doesn't just underperform, it damages your brand and deliverability. The practical takeaway is simple. Digital touchpoints now do the early work, and humans win or lose deals in the moments that feel risky for the customer. That's where we see top teams focus reps on diagnosis, consensus building, and de-risking decisions instead of acting as walking product catalogs. If your process still forces prospects through multiple intro calls before they can self-educate, you're creating friction precisely where buyers want speed. In this guide, we'll lay out the sales strategies that actually hold up in 2025. Omnichannel coverage, precision outbound, AI used with judgment, and a lean stack that keeps reps selling instead of tab switching. Whether you're building in-house or partnering with a B2B sales agency, the standard is the same. Make every touch useful, timely, and credible. Omnichannel isn't a buzzword, it's how buyers already buy. B2B buyers don't move in a straight line anymore, and they don't stay on one channel. Research shows B2B customers use an average of 10 channels across their journey, which is why email-only outbound feels invisible in 2025. Your strategy has to assume buyers will bounce between self-serve research, peer validation, social content, vendor websites, and direct conversations, often all in the same week. This shift is also structural, not temporary. The U.S. B2B e-commerce market hit about $9.69 trillion in 2024, underscoring how much buying has moved online and how comfortable customers are transacting digitally. On top of that, forecasts show 50% plus of $1 million transactions being processed through digital self-serve channels by 2025, pushing sales teams to stop treating reps as the default path to purchase. The win in 2025 comes from connecting the dots. Marketing, product, and outbound must reinforce one story across email, phone, LinkedIn outreach services, and your website experience. When buyers finally raise their hand, they should feel like you already understand their context because your content, targeting, and sequencing proved it before a rep ever spoke. Redefine the rep. Humans show up where judgment matters. If buyers can self-serve education, comparisons, and even procurement steps, reps shouldn't fight that behavior, they should design around it. In 2025, the best organizations deliberately move reps away from transactional work and toward high-leverage moments, framing the business problem, navigating stakeholder concerns, and aligning the buying committee. This is how you stay valuable to rep-averse buyers while still helping deals move faster. Operationally, that means your digital experience has to carry more weight. Clear positioning, proof, pricing guidance, even ranges, and next step options that don't demand a call. Then, when a buyer does engage live, reps come prepared with signals from the journey, what pages they viewed, what content they engaged with, what triggers are happening in their market, so the conversation starts at substance, not small talk. This approach also changes how you build your team. SDRs can't be script readers. They need to act like mini consultants who can interpret intent, tailor an angle, and orchestrate a multi-channel play. Whether you hire SDRs internally or use sales outsourcing, your enablement should train for context, clarity, and relevance, not just activity. Precision outbound. Fewer messages, better lists, stronger reasons. Outbound still works in 2025, but only when it earns attention. Average cold email response rates across 2025 campaigns hover around 8.5%, and many programs remain stuck in the 1 to 5% range because they rely on generic templates and weak targeting. The teams beating those numbers treat Outbound as a precision channel, tight ICPs, real triggers, and messaging that reads like a human made an informed decision to reach out. The biggest mistake we see is running high-volume, low-relevance sequences, especially when deliverability is already fragile. Spray and pray cadences burn domains, train buyers to ignore you, and get filtered into spam or promotions tabs, which makes every future campaign harder. If you're working with a cold email agency or outbound sales agency, the first question shouldn't be, how many sends? It should be, how strong is the list and why is each touch justified? Start by tightening your ICP with firmographics, technographics, and situational triggers. Then enforce discipline. Cap daily sends per SDR, require a meaningful personalization asset for top accounts, and build a 3-tier account model that matches effort to opportunity. This is the same logic we apply in our cold calling services and cold email programs at SalesHive. Fewer touches to better targets, with every message anchored to a reason. In 2025, the goal isn't more outreach, it's more relevance per touch, so every message feels like a tailored recommendation instead of an interruption. Build multi-channel sequences that create conversations. Multi-channel isn't nice to have anymore. It's how you earn replies from modern buying committees. Cold calling still works, but it works best as a pattern break after the prospect has seen your name in email and LinkedIn, not as random smile and dial. The phone becomes a credibility accelerator when you lead with context, and it becomes noise when your SDRs sound like cold callers reading a script. A strong 2025 sequence is coordinated, not repetitive. Touches evolve from insight to proof to a clear ask with options, including a no-call alternative for rep-free buyers. This is where a cold calling agency or SDR agency can outperform internal teams that haven't built the operational muscle for timing, data hygiene, and consistent follow-up. When sequences are designed intentionally, you'll see better meeting quality, not just more calendar activity. To keep Outbound scalable without drifting into spam, align personalization to account tier and enforce different standards by segment. AI for sales development, a co-pilot, not a copy machine. AI is a real advantage in 2025, but only when it compresses time without replacing judgment. The mistake is treating AI as a full automation engine. Fully autonomous campaigns produce generic messages that prospects can spot instantly, which erodes trust and lowers reply rates. The better approach is to use AI where it's strongest, summarizing accounts, suggesting angle options, drafting first passes, and tightening language, then having humans edit ruthlessly for relevance. This matters because reps are already under-leveraged. Data shows only 28% of a typical rep's week is spent selling, with the rest consumed by admin, internal meetings, and tool overhead. If you deploy AI without guardrails, you often add more complexity, more sequences, more variations, more reporting, without increasing the number of high-quality conversations. We recommend building explicit AI playbooks, approved research prompts, email draft prompts, call outline templates, and a quality checklist that forces a human to verify assumptions before anything goes out. Done right, AI helps SDRs sound like sharp consultants, not like a mail merge button. And it supports both in-house teams and outsourced sales team models without sacrificing brand voice. Simplify the tech stack and reward outcomes, not activity. Most teams don't have a sales effort problem, they have a workflow problem. In 2025, the average B2B sales org runs about 8.3 tools, and 73% report overlapping functionality that wastes roughly $2,340 per rep per year. Consolidation isn't just cost control. It's a productivity strategy that reduces tab switching and speeds up time to first touch. The fix is straightforward. Map the workflows that actually create revenue: prospecting, sequencing, live conversations, and pipeline management. Then keep only the tools that improve speed, quality, and visibility in those flows. If a tool doesn't clearly increase meeting rate, win rate, or reduce cycle time, it's noise. This is true whether you run everything internally or partner with a sales development agency or B2B sales outsourcing provider that brings a proven stack. Just as important is what you measure and reward. If you still incentivize emails sent and dials made, you'll get spam. If you reward qualified meetings, conversion rates, and revenue sourced, you'll get better targeting and better conversations. Next steps: a practical 2025 plan, in-house or outsourced. If you want a sales strategy that holds up in 2025, start with the buyer journey and work backward. Audit where prospects self-serve versus where they stall, then decide exactly where humans add value: discovery, solution design, consensus building, and negotiation. This prevents the common mistake of inserting reps everywhere, which buyers increasingly resist, while still ensuring you show up powerfully when stakes rise. Then operationalize precision outbound. Tighten your ICP, implement tiered account standards, and redesign sequences to be truly omnichannel across email, phone, and LinkedIn. If your team is below a 3% reply rate, assume you have a relevance or deliverability issue before you assume you need more volume. For many teams, partnering with an SDR agency, cold calling companies, or a cold calling team can accelerate execution, especially when you need to launch fast or test new segments without rebuilding infrastructure. At SalesHive, we've seen the difference between theory and what works under real inbox filters and real buyer skepticism. Our model combines list-building services, multi-channel outreach, and SDR pods into one system, so you can scale meetings without drifting into spammy behavior and without drowning your reps in tools and admin. Whether you hire SDRs, outsource sales, or run a hybrid approach, the 2025 playbook is the same: digital-first journeys, precision outbound, AI with guardrails, and measurement tied to revenue.